Who knew that CKN was a wrestling fan? Most of you probably do, considering the live streams and everything that has happened over on my main channel. But what a lot of you probably don't know or may not remember is this. The Delinquents Wrestling broadcast. It was a panel-like show that we did here on YouTube, myself and two of my friends, from 2009 to 2011. And it's something that's specialized with wrestling events. So, considering we've been talking a lot about them in the live streams and everything like that, it's time for CKN to come back out of retirement whenever it comes to talking about the WWE and take it on one event or one big news item at a time. And of course, the big one that's coming up is the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which is going to be taking place this Sunday. So, as the time of this recording, probably in about 32 hours or so. So let's take a look at this event, which, first of all, from face value, looks like it's probably going to be about a B- to a C-level event, considering this is a card that looks like we're not sure where we want to go from here. We're just going to hope that the strength of Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker kind of carries us. Yeah, so let's sit down and take a look at what we have. Okay, we start with a matchup that's not even technically going to be on the actual show, with Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville taking on Rusev, Sheamus, and King Barrett. This is one that actually should be on the show because I have a feeling this six-man match is going to be pretty good. Even though it feels like these six have just been sort of thrown together, that's something that could actually set up some branching paths later on down the line, so we just sort of need to see how this one plays out a little bit, even though I don't think it's going to set up anything all of that magnificent. I think it's going to be a pretty decent match. Look for Cesaro to try to show himself to be a little bit more than just your average individual, considering this is a guy that needs propelled a little bit higher up. He's really underrated. I look for the faces to go over in this one, so Dolph, Cesaro, and Neville get the victory in the pre-show. Moving on, next we're going to actually tackle a big one. John Cena versus To Be Determined. Oh no, who could it possibly be? There's two people that really come to mind, and there's branching reasons as to why that is. First of all, we have Dean Ambrose, considering he's now left without a position on this pay-per-view, considering the whole Ambrose and Orton versus the Wyatt family option has now been sort of taken off the table. So he going up against John Cena would make a lot of sense, considering I'm leaving soon for 2 months is probably going to be dropping the title at this event. The second potential individual that comes to mind is the debuting Tyler Breeze, and the reason for this is a little more convoluted and makes a little less sense, considering why you're going to give a guy like Tyler Breeze, who just came up, that win against John Cena. I mean, John Cena didn't even get the big marquee win with his very first matchup. Hi, Kurt Angle, how you doing? But at any rate, it makes sense considering he infused himself, Tyler Breeze that is, into Dolph Ziggler's business, and you could actually set up a couple of really good matchups, at least in theory, with Tyler Breeze having this title and Dolph Ziggler wanting to come after him, considering the comments that were made on SmackDown. Either way, if either of these two capture the title, would probably be best for business, as Triple H would say. But either way, I see John Cena losing the strap at this pay-per-view, but simply because he's leaving. And I also see this to potentially be a show stealer, so keep your eyes peeled for this one. Moving on, we have Kevin Owens taking on Ryback. Kevin Owens has the opportunity to give the Intercontinental title a lot more clout based around how he handles his reign. He's very, very good in his role, and he is somebody that could easily perpetuate the idea of a long chase for a face to really try to rise up and take Kevin Owens away from his title strap. And this is definitely the forum to really get that started, but I don't think that individual should be Ryback. God, I hope this is a rivalry that the minute that this match is done, they go very far away from one another, because even though the pop-up powerbomb was really impressive on Mark Henry, we don't need to see that over and over again with Ryback. Ryback is kind of stale, he doesn't have the same popularity that he once did, and really, I just don't like the guy. I don't think he's all of that good. I don't think he's all that, and he doesn't have the skill set, really, in my opinion, to be an interesting champion. He's basically just somebody that acts really, really hungry all the time. Feed me more, feed me more. We get it, you're starving. You're a starving little boy, Ryback. Kevin Owens goes over, by the way, because Kevin Owens needs to win this matchup, because I don't want Ryback as the Intercontinental Champion. that belt has suffered enough. Moving on, we have the New Day taking on the Dudley Boyz. Now, as much as I'm sure everybody would love to have the Dudley Boyz have the tag team titles again, as much as they probably would say that, oh, it will restore faith in the tag team division, the New Day are kind of doing that. Yeah, they're kind of doing that because they are a tag team that is getting hot and is really providing good TV and just a lot of fun from a villainous, tag team champion in quite some time. It's something that's actually becoming a lot of fun to watch. Up, Up, Down, Down, by the way, as a YouTube channel, which is Xavier Woods, I believe's YouTube channel, is a lot of fun to watch if you're a gamer. They do a lot of sports-related stuff, but they also do some other games as well. Really cool to watch. I would definitely recommend that if you're a gamer. But the Dudley Boyz don't need to go over in this situation. Really, they could actually do the New Day a favor and give them the victory here at Hell in a Cell. And if you really want to throw the straps on the Dudley Boyz, let this go till Survivor Series, or you could even let it go until December, considering the Survivor Series matchup could easily be the New Day with a fourth individual taking on the Dudleys and two other individuals of their choosing. What's Stardust doing lately? Oh, wait, he probably wouldn't align himself with that. Oh, well, just throw that out there, but you can make it interesting and extend the idea of tossing the championships to somebody else for another month. Either that or have it happen on a live show and give the live fans from Raw or SmackDown something to be excited about. I look for the New Day to retain here. It's definitely one that makes a little bit more sense, but if the Dudley Boyz capture the title, it will not be all of that surprising. So this one could easily go both ways, and honestly, the Dudleys having the championship wouldn't be all that bad either. It's something where I just don't want to see it hot shot back and forth, or that it's just being given to the Dudley Boyz because, hey, you've been gone for a while. Hey, you're back. Hey, people really like you. Here, have some titles. We have Charlotte and Nikki Bella coming up after this in our little look-see about Hell in a Cell 2015, and my entire momentum was just killed by the idea of people just waltzing back into the Fed and just being handed titles. It's almost like if I walked back into an old job, they would just give me the key to the damn store and say, here, you run it for a while, asshole. Charlotte taking on Nikki Bella. Charlotte's going over this in this matchup, period. Of course, the big question is, are they feeling pressure because of what happened on NXT with the Iron Woman match, blah, 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 blah. They might, but they probably they have been told not to care. They've been told not to care. Their only design is to have a good matchup and do it in their style. And Charlotte needs to keep this title, considering they had a really nice storyline chase for this, and the execution really was very, very well done. It's something where whenever Charlotte won the title, you legitimately felt good for her. And you legitimately are just pissed off at the Bella Twins, considering the Fed just had to extend that title reign so it would defeat AJ Lee because she's associated with CM Punk, left the company, and all this. And yeah, conspiracy theory, cue X-Files music. But at any rate, Charlotte keeps the title here. Paige is the wild card. Really don't know what the hell they're doing with Paige, but Paige is the wild card. It really would be interesting to see Paige and Charlotte go head-to-head for this title, and I think that's where this is leading. You're trying to get Paige as enough of a heel where it's believable. Moving on, we have Seth Rollins versus Demon Kane. Of course, if Demon Kane cannot capture the title, then Corporate Kane is no longer Corporate Kane. He is now history. Alright, even though I would be really, really interesting to have Kane have the strap, not really. No. Seth Rollins is retaining here, and the reason why is because there's going to be some shenanigans afoot. And the one thing that I think is going to make this really, really interesting, or could make this really, really interesting, if they actually got somebody to don the Demon Kane garb and everything like that, and do the whole, whoa, there really are two Kanes thing. But we don't really need to do that, but it would just be kind of a weird wrinkle to see where this goes and just sort of look at it with that Mr. McMahon face of, oh no, what are they doing? But at any rate, this is something where Demon Kane needs to lose this matchup because he needs to be Demon Kane. You just gotta throw Demon Kane back there because I think we could set something up very, very nicely with this for perhaps a final run of sorts. might include somebody who's later in the card, I don't know. Well, we're going to just say for all shits and giggles, Seth Rollins goes over in this matchup, shenanigans or not, and Demon Kane's going to end up being fine, just fine, considering he's got something planned in the future. Moving on to Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. This matchup kind of got ruined a little bit. This matchup has become weird. This matchup needs to be the last time for a while these two kind of go head-to-head. Unless, of course, you want to do the Survivor Series angle where you have Team Wyatt taking on Team Roman. They say that this is a matchup between two generals as opposed to two warring factions, which is kind of a true story. But this is one where we need to move a little bit forward. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family should not be doing this to just one individual or to one group. They shouldn't be in turf wars. Bray Wyatt, to be the new face of fear in the WWE, needs to be doing this to the WWE. To all of them. To randos. To people that are just in the back. Haunt the fucking security guard. Maybe play some head games with the head of freaking housing at the hotel. Do something interesting. Right now, the most interesting thing about the Wyatt family are the promos. And you could really use that to your advantage, but they don't. They don't. Instead, they stick them in this really kind of useless rivalry because they don't know who else to throw the Wyatts with, and they don't know who else to throw Roman and the rest of those guys with, because they're sort of just in this limbo. So we get this, and we know that Roman's going to be going after the world title whenever it comes to WrestleMania time. We know that's going to happen. We just have that feeling in our bones. But let's have this mean a little bit more. Let's get these two superstars to the point where perhaps this kind of matchup can be for the #1 contendership position for the WWE Championship. Let's get them to that level of relevance where people actually would care to see them go after Seth Rollins for the strap or whoever may have it. That doesn't have that feeling right now. It's a feeling of we're very, very distracted. Roman Reigns is in La La Land right now just trying to defend his fucking turf, whenever he should really be considering going back up towards the main event stratosphere, as much as I'm sure that will piss off the WWE Universe. But yeah, this is a matchup where Bray Wyatt could go over, should go over in my opinion, because I think he's the more talented of the two of them, but that's personal opinion, not based around what will probably happen, which is Roman Reigns getting the victory and trying to use the idea of giving the crowd the sweet satisfaction of a Superman punch that Bray Wyatt's nose. Which shouldn't mean anything considering face of fear, blah, blah, blah. Ain't how it used to be. Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. This is the last time. It's the rubber match. Who's gonna win? Brock Lesnar defeated the Streak. Undertaker used shenanigans at SummerSlam. Undertaker used shenanigans at SummerSlam. Undertaker's been kind of used some dirty tricks. What's going on here? One of these things is not like the other. So, who wins this matchup? Where does it make the most sense for this to go? You would really expect in this scenario if Brock would have won WrestleMania and The Undertaker would have won SummerSlam cleanly, that no matter which way this goes, you could have a showcase of respect between the two individuals. But with the little bit of shenanigans that happened at SummerSlam, that's probably not going to happen now. This is something that could easily go on. So either way, whoever wins this matchup, that has the potential to be a target or to be a big profile matchup once again, but I think what they mean is that they're going to give this a break. And I hope that that's the case. I hope that really what happens here is that regardless to who wins, Taker or Brock Lesnar, this means that they now part company and go their separate ways, because The Undertaker is going to need to be available considering Kane. Yeah, Brothers of Destruction, one final run. Why the hell not? Why not do it? Especially considering now the only Kane left will be Demon Kane after his loss against Seth Rollins. Makes a lot of sense to me, but maybe not to everybody else, including the people that freaking matter. The writers! But yeah. I think it makes the most sense for Brock to go over here and show that the torch has been passed, in a way. That way Undertaker can do his run with Kane in this scenario. Either that, or The Undertaker can focus on resting up for WrestleMania. And there you go. Just let this go. Let this go. Speaking of people that have been distracted, Brock Lesnar should be going after the world title. Should be going after the world title. But instead he's in this. And I get it. I understand why people want to see this. Because he broke the streak. And people who are Undertaker fans are fucking offended. And then the Undertaker used shenanigans. So Brock Lesnar fans are fucking offended. Get over yourselves. This needs to end. This needs to cease. This needs to move on into that's good night. Speaking of good nights, this is where I bid you my adieu. We're going to see how we do with our Hell in a Cell predictions. Officially speaking for the main event, I'm going with Brock Lesnar. Because it makes more sense to me. But it probably won't happen. Are you going to be watching the show? Who do you think is going to win? Let me know in the comments. I am Cover Killer Nation, or actually for this, just call me M-Bomb. This is CKN versus the WWE. And in this case, CKN versus Hell in a Cell 2015.